Well, hey there, Carrie here. I am so excited to spend this time with you to train and to share all about how you can take your health to the next level. Now, I really hope that you enjoyed that whole series of trainings that Mark and I did. It was amazing for me to be able to spend that much time with him. I mean, like, this is the book that kind of started it all for me, and to so many years later be working beside him and partnering with him. Oh, anyway, I hope that you enjoyed them and that you got inspired and motivated by it. But let's get started because I have so much to share, because I think Mark and I dug into a lot of stuff, and now it's like we got to get practical now. We got to figure out exactly how are you going to move your health to the next level. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and my heart and spend some time with you to hopefully have you in a place where you feel really good about where you are and what your next steps are. Okay, so you all should know me by now, right? Coach Carrie here, been an educator for more than 24 years. I'm a certified health and nutrition coach. And I founded Disruptive Nutrition because I wanted to disrupt what people have been taught and what they think they know about nutrition, just like my whole world was blown up and disrupted when I figured all of this out. So really our mission here, as I hope that you've been able to see this week, is that we need to disrupt the idea that we ever need to diet again, that depriving ourselves is the answer to lose weight and to be healthy. Because it's not. We can still model appropriate eating habits and mindsets for our kids while still working towards our health goals. And so we're really passionate at Disruptive Nutrition, myself and my coaches and my clients, about teaching and supporting them in what I say is a very simple, sustainable, and satisfying approach. And yes, we can have carbs, and we should have to have carbs, okay? So we are going to move along because I'm really excited about what we are doing today. So this training series that we did for the last 4 days, I mean, you had the fortune of being exposed to the genius behind a big part of what we teach at Disruptive Nutrition. To get Mark's support, his endorsement, and his partnership, it was just an opportunity that makes our program actually even that much better. And so I hope that you have found these trainings to be informational and inspirational. And now we're going to talk about what's next. I really want to make sure that you are in a place where you feel like you know what you can do to get your health to that next level. If you didn't get a chance to watch all of those trainings, don't worry, I'll have a link here for you so that you can get caught up. But don't stop watching. This is still going to be a really valuable experience, even if you haven't watched all the trainings, but I highly suggest you do. They're not long and they're really, really powerful. Okay, so let's just go into a little bit more about who I am. I shared a little bit of my heart with you all, but I have this incredible family, my husband, Peter, and my two teenage girls, Ellie and Grace, and our adorable and super naughty cockapoo. I call him a puppy, but he's not. He's old now. So our family is the most important thing to me. And I've said this before, but let me just really reiterate the fact that I have been a professional educator for more than 2 decades. And so being a former teacher and educational consultant and coach has uniquely positioned me to be able to teach in a way that people can learn. But let's go back for a little while, because I did share in those trainings why I even got so passionate about nutrition. I needed something to work. I was failing myself, my body, my family, and nothing worked. Well, at least for the long term. And nothing was working on my mind and my spirit along with my body. So when I was about to turn 40 years ago, I was in a really bad place. And like I said, I have these two girls who at the time were much, much younger. I traveled a ton for work all over the country, and I liked carbs and I liked wine. Those are my two things. My energy level was really low. I drank a lot of coffee, like a pot of coffee I would bring with me wherever I would go. I was gaining weight. I hated the way I looked. I can remember where I was when I hit rock bottom. I told some of you the story how I was in my kitchen and I got a glance of myself in the kitchen cabinet, in the window of the kitchen cabinet. And it was just this moment that triggered for me that I'll never forget. And I wonder if you can relate to that, because maybe it wasn't like your reflection in the kitchen cabinet, but maybe it was a mirror in a dressing room or a glass door in a department store. But my guess is that we all have had this feeling of inadequacy, frustration, and just that complete feeling of being hopeless. I had an eating disorder when I was 20, and I had been a college athlete. And as soon as I stopped those intense workouts, I had no idea what it meant to eat correctly when my 6 day a week intense workouts were done. So my confidence like plummeted, and I started gaining weight, and I didn't know why. I didn't even know what to do about it. So I stopped eating. And when I tried to start again, I couldn't. So fast forward to when I finally got pregnant after years of infertility, which I now know directly correlated with my nutrition. I felt like I could finally justify eating again. So it's amazing what we do for our kids, right? But I didn't do very well by my body during that time. And so then after giving birth, I was in even a worse place. Had never been so heavy in my life. There's very few pictures of me during that time, and I just went down a path of self-doubt, of hate, of depression, self-loathing, and it was all because of the weight on the scale. Like that determined everything for me. I had tried so many things, but everything honestly was just really confusing to me because I had never been taught any of this. I just knew that I had to count calories, I had to take in less than I burned, I had to eat as little as possible. I remember because like my mom would have a different dinner than we did when I was growing up. And so I understood that that's what I was going to have to do. I had this very, very clear mindset that to be valuable and to be worthy, I had to be pretty and skinny. My mom didn't tell me that, but like that was absolutely what I believed. So now we fast forward to today, after dedicating many years to figuring out what I needed to do to get myself healthy while balancing this insane life, right, that we all have going on. I hired my own coaches. I researched everything I could and realized that so much of what we have been taught in terms of what it means to get healthy and lose weight is completely misguided. I learned by stumbling upon Mark McDonald that food is fuel and not something that we should deprive ourselves with. I learned that when our blood sugar is balanced by eating the right foods at the right time in the right portions, we literally can reprogram our bodies to function optimally. It then increases our metabolism so we meet our short-term weight loss goals while giving us a solution that we can do for the rest of our lives and that will allow us to remain healthy long into our lives as we age. So I am now in my mid 40s in better shape than I've ever been. I have a super high metabolism. I love this picture here. That's Ellie and I in a CrossFit workout together, my youngest daughter. My metabolism is just on fire. And I do this while I model appropriate eating habits for my two teenage girls. And that was super important to me. I was committed to not passing on the mindsets that I had about food, my body, and my worth being in the scale to them. And I learned how to eat. And that was the easy part, to be honest with you. Even though I know that so many people struggle with that, once you learn it, it's actually pretty easy. But what I realized through this process, and I believe a big part of all of this had to do with my work as an educator and my study in psychology, but the big work was around tackling our emotions, our mindsets, what they are doing to our souls and our spirits. Without truly learning how to get into those places, I was never going to succeed. No diet I had ever been on had ever taught me that. And it's those three things, understanding what to do, why, and how it relates to our body, our mind, and our spirit. That is the key to my success, my coach's success, and all of my clients' success. So it's important to know that I absolutely eat. I still love my wine. And because my metabolism is so high, I can eat in ways that never make me feel deprived and in which my body can totally handle it without skipping a beat when I do go off plan. So when you stop dieting and you start fueling your body with food correctly in the way that we teach, your life will be transformed. So let's start talking about you now. I have heard from so many of my clients, have heard people's responses to just how they are feeling, the challenges that they have, and their frustrations. I see you and I hear you. I have been where so many of my potential clients have been. And I've come through the other side. And I know that you can too. Even though I know right now it may feel impossible, because let's face it, I have learned a lot about how people come into the conversation with me. And knowing what you have kind of learned this week during these trainings, I know you're in likely one of these few situations here. Okay. So you could have been trying different diets or following trends for years, but haven't made any progress and probably regressed. Right. And as a result, you might be feeling frustrated and defeated. So if you can relate, you are in the right place. Okay. Or how about this one? You might have had some success in the past with diets and eating healthy, but now it's not working for you anymore. What used to work just doesn't seem to, and you don't know why. There's a reason for that. Okay. And that's some of the stuff that Mark and I were able to dig into. Or this one might be kind of you. I feel like all of these were me. You might have like a general idea of what to do, but you don't do it. Or maybe you've given up even trying because life is just busy and you don't have time to think about what it takes to get healthy because it just feels like so much work. Counting calories, counting macros, tracking it all in an app, eating clean or meal prepping, it just takes a lot of motivation, energy, and time. And while you don't like the results, my guess is you think that maybe you just don't have a choice right now because one day you'll get back into eating healthy and you feel that it's a real challenge to implement whatever habits are necessary to get healthy. So if that's you, keep listening because that is what we're going to talk about here too. So believe it or not, for the people that feel like they have a general idea of what to do, it's probably not what the whole story, I should say. Okay. Some people though are just maybe completely lost and have no idea where to start. Like you want to get healthy, but you just don't have any idea where to begin. And everything you read seems to contradict itself. I mean, everything contradicts itself, right? You hear no carb, then you hear no low fat and don't eat at night or have a bedtime snack. Like it's so crazy. Don't eat meat or you should eat meat. It's just so much. And here's the thing, the true time tested and simple concepts that we started to unpack this week in my training with Mark will finally give you the opportunity to know what to do, how to do it. And you can actually rewrite that story that you have been telling for way too long. And I know these feelings, not just because they were me, but because this is how my clients feel before I'm working with them. We get so many people that are just at that point of frustration, feeling like failures, on the brink of giving up, not knowing what to do. But after learning and living what we teach and how we teach it, their stories, which I know are yours right now, end up changing dramatically. So I want you to think about my story and Mark's story. They're different now than they were back then. And I want you to have a different story as well. We are living a life of freedom, like my coaches and my clients, of confidence and strengths, and our stories have changed. So let's think about this in terms of imagining a different story for yourself. Can you imagine losing weight without feeling deprived? Because once you really know the formula, like really truly know it, imagine eating more food than you ever had before and start losing weight for good, setting yourself up for a lifetime. How about kissing your sugar cravings goodbye? Because when you eat correctly and your body's in balance because you are feeding it consistently with what it needs, your sugar cravings become non-existent. Or how about having more energy without needing that Starbucks run? I don't think you could have ever convinced me that that was true back in the day. But living a life with energy without needing that caffeine burst may seem impossible right now, but once you have it, you won't ever want to lose it. When you are confident and strong, it is when you know that you are doing right by your body. So when you know that you're doing right, that confidence and strength comes, and it's like almost like immediate. Your mind, your body, and spirit have a confidence regardless of what that stupid scale says, especially in the beginning. I mean, what would life look like if you had that confidence? And having a healthy relationship with food. Imagine never feeling guilty about food again, being able to eat what you want and knowing that your body will continue to work for you instead of against you. And what was so important for me was modeling and teaching those appropriate eating habits and mindsets for my kids, creating that new narrative around food, your body, and yourself. It's not only freeing for you, but it's carving a different path for your kids. They will go down a different way if they aren't held within those same grips of the diet and the scale that you and I were stuck in. I know this sounds awesome, but I also know that you've likely been down this road before, right? Excited to maybe start something new, but that didn't work. And so why should this be different this time? Why will this actually work for you? I have so many clients that told me before living this lifestyle that they felt like nothing worked and that their metabolism is too slow, that they are too old. But here's the thing. It's not too late. Regardless of how old we are, how much yo-yo dieting we have done, we can build back the trust with our body that it needs. When we are consistent and doing the right things, our body will respond. So I just want to show you a couple of quotes that we got from a couple of clients. Look at this. So Michelle Steffen is one of my coaches. And so her client actually wrote to me and said, Michelle Steffen is my coach, but you've been amazing. I can't believe how much I have learned from watching and reading. I thank you so very much for getting my menopause middle-aged body back before it got too out of control. Can't wait to get my hubby involved too. I mean, that's really powerful because I remember hearing her story and how she just felt like nothing was going to work anymore because she had hit that age and she felt like nothing she had done was working. And then this one here, my metabolism is kicking some butt. I've just reached a weight, it should be weight, I haven't been at since college, over 20 plus years. That's amazing. Right? So how long does it take to kind of build back the trust and that consistency that I've been talking about with your body? Well, everyone's different, and it's just going to depend on how long you've had that inconsistent relationship with it, how slow your metabolism or your set point might be right now. There's factors like your age and your hormones and those kinds of things, but there is a ton that we teach that we can do to help you get the right foundation to ensure that you're building that trust with your body we talk about. And this is what today is all about, giving you this foundational information so you know how to build that trust. And so what we covered this week with Mark, right? We covered the concept of fueling our body with food and why diets fail. We tapped into a little bit about mindsets and why that's so important. It is pivotal in understanding before I dig into this, because I want you to trust the approach that I teach is something that you need. And that's why I think this week with Mark was so important, because what he teaches, what we teach, what we have taken to this, I feel like, powerful level of education and support is what all of our bodies need. It's not ever too late to refocus and create a healthy lifestyle for you and your family. And here's the great thing. Once you learn what it takes and you make the strategies into habits the way that we teach you, it will form a foundation for a lifestyle. You guys, I mean, I didn't figure this out until I was almost 40. I have clients, including my family members, who are in their 70s, who reversed their diabetes diagnosis, some who went off their depression medications, everyone who improved their overall health and had like tests that came back with their cholesterol levels changed, blood work, energy raised. It is never too late or too hard to get this right. It's just about focusing on the right things for your body, your mind, and your spirit. So let me tell you quick about Nicole. She was one of my clients. She's a new mom who had struggled with her weight, her energy, and confidence in body image for forever, for years. I had actually known her for a little while before she became a client. And while I had talked to her a little bit about what I was doing as a nutrition coach, she was kind of always in the middle of doing something else. And to this day, I hadn't had another client that tried as many things as she did. She literally is the one, I think, who tried it all, from every single diet out there to 12 nutrition coaches and even some medical interventions. So when Nicole registered to work with me, I was actually like, oh gosh, she really has tried it all. I know everybody says that, but I think she really has. And so I think this is going to work for her, but oh my gosh, maybe it won't. Maybe this will be the one it doesn't work for. I honestly just prayed for her and her success throughout the whole time she was doing our 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch. And she caught on fast because she knew a lot already, but this was her first text to me. Let me show you. Based on the lessons, I can see that so much of what I have done has been close to on point, but I was always missing a component of it. That's why, like, the people who think they know what to do, they just don't do it. I always challenge people to say, I think I could still tweak some stuff for you. And then after her second weekend, she had some real aha moments. And she said, hey, I'm feeling great. A little headache day one because I didn't do coffee. So I had some fizz sticks. Fizz sticks are amazing. If you ever hear me talk about them, trust me, they're these amazing natural energy boosters that we love over here at Disruptive Nutrition. But otherwise, I felt great. It's all the same foods I normally eat, but I'm pairing them together differently. I can tell the difference it's making already. And I checked in with her again, and she said, what I think is the craziest is that a nutritionist before me had me count macros, which are PFC. We talked about that this week, proteins, fats, and carbs. But we counted it for the day instead of being consistent with each meal. And the numbers were way different. This makes so much more sense, she said. I felt like tracking for the day was so time consuming, right? It's got to be something you can do forever. You cannot do that forever. And it doesn't even work. It doesn't make sense because some meals, like she said, were so carb heavy and others were more protein heavy. But because I hit my numbers for the day, I thought I was on target. So I couldn't figure out why I couldn't see success. Now I could tell that I wasn't balancing my blood sugar all day. That's what Mark and I were talking about, and what a difference that makes. Okay, and then here we're kind of at the end of her 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch, and she says, okay, all good. I feel really great about how different this program is than other quote unquote diets. We don't diet, right? I don't feel nervous about going off plan. Even with lots of visitors and entertaining, I felt confident about what to do, and it was really easy, and I didn't miss out on anything like the old days when I was dieting, right? She's still continuing to live this plan. She said, I don't really think I would have made it through this newborn phase without this. 4 weeks ago, I was a hot mess, living off coffee to get me through the day. That's how I was. I remember that totally, that pot of coffee. The renewed energy helped me push through this crappy phase. Also, I'm down 13.5 pounds in a jean size. And that's just like the side benefit of all those other pieces. Think about her story has been rewritten, right? And then this was still going strong. We're about 2 months into after she finished the lifestyle launch with me. She said, I've done so many different things and that I know at this point in my journey, it's been 2 months, I would have plateaued and started to gain back the weight. I can feel my metabolism getting faster and faster, which is the opposite of a diet, as I'm hungry right on that 3-hour mark, and I just keep losing. And I'm not even that precise with everything. You don't have to be. I can tell just how different this will be for me for the long term. So here's the deal. If you watched those videos with Mark and I, and if you jumped on this training with me to really truly get rid of this whole dieting nonsense, to find something that actually works. If you are tired of following trends and just searching for solutions, if you haven't made progress and feeling frustrated and defeated, or if you've had some success before, but now you're like, I don't know, because it's not working for me anymore. Or if you're just so busy, tired, overwhelmed at the thought of starting something new, learning something new that is just too much. And even though I know that you want to see progress, and not just for a week or for a month, but for a lifetime, I'm sure you want it without the practice. That's not going to take more of your time, and it's going to be satisfying and something your whole family can do. And so I get it. That is exactly how I felt when I was going through this. I wanted to figure it all out. I wanted to stop the roller coaster dieting, to feel better, to have more energy, and to not give my daughters a complex about their body and food, right? So this is the issue that so many of my clients share. And my goal is that you feel better than you ever thought was possible. And people start asking you for nutritional advice. Wouldn't that be amazing? So, a lot of our clients, when they hear me talk about the struggle with the idea that this is going to work for them, is because nothing else has. And I'm here to tell you, though, that I just don't believe that anybody else out there is taking an approach like ours. So I know you want your freedom. And because I know what that feels like, I want everyone to have it. And I also know that you want to feel satisfied, because anytime we have to deprive ourselves or have those insatiable cravings, eventually you're going to give in. And then there's that trickle down effect of guilt and shame and feeling like you backslid. But food doesn't have to make us feel guilty. And in fact, when we can give our body what it wants consistently, we can have what we desire without the guilt. We can feel satisfied all the time, and our bodies can reward our approach with being able to handle the indulgences without skipping a beat. When we become more self-aware and build better habits, when we approach this holistically and within a community, it works. So this is like, these are your choices now, right? You can keep doing what you've been doing, expecting different results, but in reality, being in the same place at this time next year, feeling just as frustrated, defeated, and stressed, and all while communicating those same disempowering mindsets about your own body and food to your children. Just keep reliving and staying in that same story. Or the second option is you can 100% commit to learning and launching a new lifestyle for yourself this year, right now, using an approach that is simple, satisfying, and sustainable. And I want you to know that wherever you are on this journey, wherever you are right now, we have a place for you at Disruptive Nutrition. So I believe and know that even with how awesome I think our approach is, I don't think it would be half as effective if it wasn't for our communities. And I talked about that this week with Mark. So if you're in a place where you're still not sure you're ready to dig in deep, other than our free Facebook group, the Diet Disruptor Squad could just be perfect for you. It's a place where thousands of squad members live and communicate and support each other. They come there for inspiration, for motivation, for teaching and resources. We love to serve and provide value there. And for those of you, though, that are truly committed and that really want to tell a new story, one that sounds more like mine or my coach's, then I want you to consider doing our 4 weeks to wellness lifestyle launch. So let me tell you a little bit about it, because for 4 weeks, you're not going to only learn these concepts personalized to you, but you also use this time to detox your body through a clean eating approach, not like juicing or any of that nonsense. It's eating clean, eating healthy. That's going to rid your body of those toxins. And those toxins are actually causing you to store unwanted fat, believe it or not. So we need to, I say it's like an oil change for our car. We need to just improve our gut health, get rid of those toxins, and start to replenish all the nutrients and vitamins that our bodies have been lacking. And then at the same time, while you're doing that, you're going to be digging deeper into all of those things that Mark and I started to talk about, including that PFC every 3 approach, where we will make sure that you understand it perfectly for you, and digging into those emotions and mindsets that we started talking about. All of those things that kind of have that grip around food and our self-worth. We dig into our motivations, our habits, our self-awareness. We heighten and build, and all while being surrounded around a private community who has been where you are and won't let you fail this time. So let me be honest with you guys. Teaching, I said this in the video, is kind of my superpower. In fact, I even own that URL, teachingismysuperpower.com. But I am a professional educator with more than 2 decades of experience. There's so many people online teaching nutrition, and not only are they not teaching you what I believe is the stuff you really need to know, but I don't know that any of them really truly know how to teach such an approach like this that really is effective. I mean, how many of them are an expert in knowing how people learn? My decades of educational and coaching experiences with teachers and leaders has given me the expertise and knowledge on how to coach you. So we will walk through this process step by step, virtually holding your hand and making sure you know what to do next, and then after that, and then after that. So the 4 Weeks to Wellness Lifestyle Launch is the only program of its kind that offers a comprehensive step-by-step education with real-time support by your own certified personal coach while setting your body up for ultimate success for the long term. So let's talk more about that, okay? So while I stand by the fact that what we teach you around food and nutrition is not what is typically taught, anybody really out there can teach you what to do to eat right? That you can be focusing on your body and the food, and that is it. But even at Disruptive Nutrition, if that's all we did, we know it wouldn't be enough. For all the reasons we've been talking about this week and today, we have emotions and we have mindsets that are tied with food. We have to dig into why we want to do this, what we're doing it for. And it's not just the body, but it's also our minds, our emotions, our mindsets that we have to ensure is just as cared for and supported. And we know, as I shared with you this week with Mark, we talked about being clear on our why, our true purpose of what we're fighting for and why we are fighting for it, which I promise is so much deeper than a number on the scale. We won't truly be at peace with our body, regardless of what that scale says, if we don't dig into that. So it's a holistic approach that, to be honest with you, isn't typical with what you're going to find in other programs out there. And so this is what we do at Disruptive Nutrition. This is why what you have done before hasn't worked. Not only was the nutritional approach off, but the fact that it didn't take into account all of you, every bit of who you are, it's not going to serve you. And all of this is done wrapped in what I think is the most important piece of this all, community. So let's think about this. This is what it takes, and this is how we do things. This is what you get when you choose to invest in yourself with us, your whole self, with us by your side. And my experience as an educator has allowed me to design this learning process that is streamlined, easy to follow, and yields incredible results. So inside the 4 Weeks to Wellness learning portal, I focus on giving you a complete education. It's based on the concepts that we started to discuss here and that we talked about this week, as well as total support. So you can not only implement them for a month, but be able to carry the concepts through sustainable integration for a lifetime. So you'll get 15-minute lessons each day for a month. And that is going to give you a comprehensive education in the what and the why and the how of this lifestyle. You're also going to start your journey off with a week of pre-program, I call it pre-challenge education. So before you even start to implement, you're going to get one whole week, which will start on a Monday, and then you can dive into 4 weeks of detoxing your body with clean eating and eliminating foods that don't serve you the following week. This is going to push the reset button on your body so it's primed for incredible results. And throughout the month, you're also going to dig deep into those simple yet life-changing nutritional concepts around that PFC every 3 that we talked about here. We will troubleshoot for you. We will personalize it for you. You will be able to do it. And then towards the end of the program, you are coached and taught how to start to integrate what you've learned into a lifestyle so you can eat in any social situation and sustain your progress, satisfaction, and your mindsets forever. And we know that our emotional connections to food, as well as the baggage we carry about our weight, self-image, and beliefs about our value, is a key component to successfully changing the way we look at food, ourselves, and ultimately our self-worth, right? We would be amiss if we talked about changing habits without changing our mindsets and the limiting beliefs that might be holding us back. And so that's why, as part of this program, we have a mindset coach. We have lessons and support that allow us to really reflect on any food and any food that's kind of holding us back or the hold that it has on us. And we can reflect on our confidence and the value that we attach to ourselves around our own weight. Addressing these issues will not only allow you to make the longer term changes that you need to around your own goals, but it's going to give you the tools to think about how you're parenting your kids around all of this as well. And you may be surprised that some of those stories I was texting my clients. I am. And so are our coaches. When we support you, we connect with you regularly so that we can check in, make sure that you're getting all the information and the support and the accountability that you need as well. And throughout this whole thing, you're going to be supported. You're going to be coached. You're going to be cared for. Our team of coaches are just like you. They struggled and found this as the only solution that has worked for the long term, and they want to help you succeed too. Because health and wellness encompasses every aspect of our lives, I am committed to making sure that you are well-informed and well-rounded. Nutrition is only part of the formula. Our program also gives you the chance to have access to regular guest coaches in various fields that will help you to continue to grow. We have had coaches that specialize in strength training, in finances, in raising girls, in yoga, in styling, so much more. And the best part is, if you end up joining the 4 Weeks to Wellness Lifestyle launch, you get to be part of our private membership group for 6 weeks, just automatically included. And that includes all of those guest coaches. It includes coaching calls with me, all of the support and resources that goes along with it. It's amazing. And for the entire 6 weeks that you're in our program, that you are learning and that you are working with your private coach, you get to dig into that private membership. It is only available to those who have done the 4 Weeks to Wellness. So I will always say it not only includes the most comprehensive resources, information, extras that you can dig into from the past, but also a supportive community of fellow diet disruptors who are living this lifestyle every single day. I have weekly live coaching calls where I can answer all of your questions. I do it live, but I also teach and coach on additional information that covers things like mindsets, emotions, setting goals, handling special events, and so much more. And you also get a ridiculous amount of what I say PFC balanced recipes, like incredible recipes that your whole family is going to love. And even if you don't cook, they're simple and they're great dinners for you. And then you can make them for leftovers and have them the next day. So now with all of this, do you really think that you can't do this? So let's rewrite the story that you are so used to telling. Imagine being in a place a year from now where that story you told this week or you've been telling for years is foreign to you. That you're so used to your new story, your new mindsets, that you can hardly remember the place that you're in now. And like our coaches share all the time, like I share, like our clients share, some of them are a few months in, some of them are years in, they have a different story. And that story comes from such a deep gratitude and excitement because they know where they came from. And I can't wait for you to have a new story too. So I know you probably have a lot of questions, okay? And so you can always reach out and ask anything that you want, but everything is waiting for you right now. You're gonna be able to start a week of prep and then 4 weeks of really digging in to eating clean and learning PFC and digging into those mindsets and emotions that have likely been holding you back. So just take a look at this just one more time, that those 4 weeks to wellness, it's 6 weeks of access, but 4 weeks of eating really clean and PFC, and then a launch for a lifetime. So you get a group coach, a personal coach, a private members only community that you get to be a part of, the recipes and grocery lists, so many printables and resources, and like I said, that mindset coaching. But let me show you some extras that you get just for joining our 4 weeks to wellness. So the first one is, I told you about the recipes, which is awesome, right? But we also have super simple PFC balanced meal ideas, 101 of them. We worked together to put this together for you, so it was super simple because we eat a lot during the day, right? So they're very simple grab and go options. It makes this lifestyle so easy. We balance what I call healthy and correct, and there's also options in there for after the 4 weeks to wellness is over, when you're eating correct PFC, but maybe not so healthy. And so we have great ideas for fast food and restaurants and things like that. So they're already portioned, so you can jump right into figuring out this lifestyle right away. And our second bonus is that we're going to give you immediate access to our membership group early. And because of that, you're going to get past issues of our recipe subscription. So that's awesome because you can go back and grab a few extra months. Nowhere else on the market can you find recipes like these with the exact PFC balance suited to the lifestyle that we teach. There's nothing else out there like that. And I want you to feel totally confident in signing up for this. So if you enroll now, you're going to get access for 2 days to the program layout, the information in the program, all of it. And if you don't feel like it's going to get you well on your way to effectively shifting your approach, then you just let us know and we will return back your investment after 2 days or within 2 days. And then the third bonus here is we have this great mindset coach. I do a lot of mindset coaching myself, but Janet Van Leer is a true expert in this. So that she is part of the 4 Weeks to Wellness program, and you can get a free call with her as well if you would like, as an extra bonus. So the total value of all of this is really at least $1,500. I have done a ton of market research and I have been coached that I should be charging at least this for the comprehensive program, especially because you have your own private coach for those 6 weeks. But I believe very much that we need to make this affordable and accessible for as many people as possible. And to me, that is too much of a barrier. So the cost is just $347. And this is a one-time fee. I actually recently had somebody think it was every month they had to pay this. And I'm like, oh goodness, no, this is it. This is the cost, okay? This is $8 a day for 6 weeks. And I mean, honestly, like that's it. Think about how much it costs to go out for dinner. My family of 4 and I went to Chipotle recently, and it was $65 for the 4 of us to go out to eat. And we didn't even have drinks. That's 1 week's worth in this program. Okay. So let's just think about how much maybe you're also spending on a gym membership. Like my CrossFit membership costs $160 a month. That's almost $4 a day right there. That's like half of what this costs. And I can promise you, if you're working out, but you're not focused on your nutrition, which is without a doubt 80% of the equation, you're doing it in the wrong order. And you're never going to see the results or achieve the optimal health you're looking for if that's the priority over this. So I'd rather you pause your gym membership for a month, cut this cost down to half for you, than don't go to Chipotle or Starbucks for a couple times and you've got the cost covered. Okay. I know that it seems hard to spend the money on yourself right now, but I want you to think about this for you and your family. Okay. It's not just about you. Because of what my girls know now, the mindsets they have and the practices they adopt they are so much more equipped than I was at that age. My gosh, they're teenagers and I did not know as much as they did about this until I was 40. Imagine how different my life would have been. So also think about this. I talk to so many women who want to get their husbands on board, or vice versa for the men that I coach that want to get their wives on board. Remember that quote that I showed you about that woman said she can't wait to get her hubby involved? When you do this, let's be real, you're going to get information for both men and for women. Share it with your partner. I'm not going to PFC meals for them. They're going to get on board without even knowing it. You can even ask Chandra, who's one of our members. She's a client who signed up for the program. She did it alongside her husband, who she didn't pay for him. She just gave him, his meals and his information. He ended up losing not only 15 pounds, but eliminated considerable health issues that had been plaguing him, including anxiety. And she only signed up for herself. So the bottom line is you can't afford not to do this. For the amount that you get in this program, you have access to all of the information in the learning portal for a lifetime. So you can always go back and revisit or re-educate yourself or relearn. Not to mention the fact that this is going to launch a new lifestyle for you. I hope you can agree that it is well worth the cost. And you are so much more than the $8 a day it's going to take to get you there. And how about this? Let's just go here for a second and even add more value and savings. So I have learned that in the personal relationships that I have with my friends and family is so powerful, right? I appreciate my friends and family, especially after this whole pandemic, even more than I had before. And I need them and want them to be a regular part of my life. And we have found that when friends do this together, they can form their own accountability team. They enjoy it even more, and they have additional support that's different just from their coach or from the community, and they see more success. So that's why we're offering for you to be able to bring a friend along on this journey with you. So what does that mean? If you sign up, you will be given information to invite a friend to do this and give them $100 off. So it brings it down to $247 for your friend. Now, you can decide if you have a friend that you know really needs a savings and you just give them that whole savings off for them, right? Or you guys can talk about splitting it and figure that out between the two of you, but that could bring down your cost too if you wanted to. But by giving this chance to a friend, you never know how you could be impacting someone's life. So if you choose to sign up, you're going to be given the information on how to invite a friend at the end of the registration and how to get that coupon code for your friend. Okay. So option one, let's go over this one more time. You keep doing what you've been doing, expecting different results, but in reality, still being in the same place at this time next year, still telling that same story. Or option two, you commit to learning and launching this new lifestyle. Imagine where you're going to be in a month. You're going to write a different story for yourself. And by this time next year, it's going to be 100% different. Okay. So that is so important to us that you think about these options and that you really recognize how important you are and how much you can gain from a little bit of time given to yourself that you can give back to your family. So I just want to leave you with this quote that I love. This is from April, one of my clients, and she said, "I never had such amazing results with anything I've ever done before. The best part is that it's totally sustainable." So I'd love to hear back from you. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this whole thing, for this opportunity, for sharing, being able to share my heart in this program that means so much to me. Go to 4w2w.com for more information, and I really hope that I get to see your registration in my inbox because I want nothing more than to be able to support you and your family and rewriting your story. Thanks.